No, it's like a cookie exchange. The whole grape was exchanged. Smart. Hello.
Hi. Hello. Leslie, why don't you get it?
Oh, heyo.
No, Tylo.
That's not funny. What made you think of that?
I don't know, I just thought of it the other night.
Were you there when that happened?
No, you told me about it.
Okay,
You're in charge of contacting Griff.
yeah, you have to contact Grove. Sorry.
Griff, get out.
He's gonna come in and be like,
Miss Cunningham.
hi.
Hi. Just to let you know, Amanda and I have to leave at 40.
We have another class.
Aww.
Okay.
Better
We'll take
than
what
nothing.
we can get. We'll take what we can get.
Wait, what time does this class start?
His class?
Yeah, Griff. Because he's probably in class and I'm calling him.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I'll leave him a message.
Oh.
Are you calling him?
Oh, if his class starts at 11, there shouldn't be a
problem.
it shouldn't be a problem.
Right.
Meeting is on.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Devin, I like your scarf.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being here. I think this is great that we can all be together and have our exam review class. Manly's Pebble, do we have Joan and Julia coming in?
Not sure yet.
Okay.
Why are they always late? It's always late.
So a couple updates before we begin our review session. I have only graded half of the papers. So half of you have received grades and half of you have not. I'm very, very sorry. I worked very hard this weekend, but still was not able to finish. So my plan is to finish those tonight. Also, the exam will be posted tomorrow by 11 o'clock. Hold on, let me make sure I'm saying 11 o'clock Central Time, which is 9 o'clock Pacific Time, or noon Eastern Time. So basically, by the time we would be finishing our class, if we were having it tomorrow, that exam will be posted, and you have until Friday at midnight Pacific Time to finish it. So Eastern Time, that's what, 3 o'clock in the morning?
Here it's 2.
Here it's 2, yeah. So 3 o'clock Eastern Time, and 3 a.m. Let's just review that this is not proctored. You are on your honor to not cheat. Once you start that exam, the 2-hour timer will start going, and you won't be able to stop it. If you're not done with your test when the 2 hours occurs, it will save everything that you've entered, so you don't need to panic that, you didn't click submit. It will automatically save everything, and I'll be able to see everything that you entered. Are there any concerns about the mechanics of taking the test or questions about taking the test? Okay, excellent. I thought we'd start out by opening it up to any questions from the group. Chloe, go ahead.
I mean, I'm just gonna ask for like the layout. If say we're looking at different pictures, like is it gonna be easy to see them next to each other, or since it's on a computer, you're gonna have to scroll?
Not sure that there'll be any instances where you're looking at images side by side.
Okay.
Okay. It's going to be using the same software that you're taking the quizzes. It'll be like that. And where there's an essay, there'll just be a big space for you to type in your essay, etc. Okay, questions from the group about content. Anything that you want to review or any questions you have about the different styles, the different artists?
No, I just, my sister came late to school today, and so she, was running late. I just take her too.
No questions. Wow. Y'all are a confident bunch. Do you have any questions about content for the final exam?
No.
No. Okay. Yes, Leslie.
So, when it says retake the quizzes, we're able to do that. We can retake all the quizzes, but there's
Would you like to be? I could reset them.
If that's the style of the test, I would like to do that. If that's how the software is.
Great.
There's no way to see how if we got it right or wrong. But.
Yes. Okay. I'm so glad you asked. There is. Folks, you can see exactly which questions you missed on one of the quizzes. How you do it is you will go to your gradebook page on eCollege, which, as you know, I'm not using to calculate your grade. However, if you go there and you click on your score for a particular quiz, it should bring up a screen that allows you to see exactly which questions you missed. So why don't you all try that right now? Open up eCollege, go to the gradebook, and try clicking on your score for one of the quizzes. Can I look over your shoulder?
Yeah.
There you go. Click on page 2.
And it comes down.
Yep. Scroll. There it is.
Oh, that's awesome. Has it
Okay.
always been there?
That's always been there.
It's about
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. Is anyone struggling to find it?
I was like, I don't know where this is.
You'll have to navigate to page 2, because usually page 1 is the honor code. So page 2 and scroll down and you'll see all your questions. Did you find it?
What do these mean?
Stars?
Yeah, like, is that just like because it was the first step?
Maybe.
Yeah, I have because I'm doing better than you, but not
Sand stars. Did you skip that particular quiz? Did you miss a quiz?
I've never listened.
I'm not sure what that's about.
Okay, I'll show you.
Sorry.
It's okay.
So that's a way that you could go back and study the quizzes, is pull up the grade book and look at them. What quizzes are you missing, Victoria?
I'm not missing any.
Oh, you're able to click on them all
Oh
from this
no.
semester?
Oh sorry. I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first 6 quizzes and the Greek quiz, the Greek art quiz.
That sounds like all first semester.
I guess.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
but I can access the Sumerian art quiz.
Try clicking on the Greek
Great.
ones. Yours have like an asterisk. I'm missing
Yeah.
neoclassical art. Does it work?
Okay.
Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I don't know if Egyptian
art
and Greek art, I think it may have been first semester.
That is. Okay. So, but neoclassical would be this semester. Okay. What would be the most useful to y'all? Do you want to have time to look over the study guide today during class? Do you want me to ask random questions about things to quiz you? What would be the most helpful to you?
Quiz us.
Quiz us.
Quiz you. Okay. I'm just going to look through my notes and ask questions to the group. And let's just raise your hands and we'll answer. Okay. Who can tell me something about Bernini? Who was he? What did he do? Lauren.
Bernini and Buronini, I think, were in the Baroque ages, and they were experimenting with different styles of sculpture and architecture, I believe, for the time.
Okay. And the way we pronounce Baroque is Baroque, kind of like, oops, I broke the lamp, you know. Excellent. So Bernini, and you mentioned Borromini. Who was Borromini? Hannah.
Bernini's arch nemesis, who was also a sculptor, painter, architect, and was always competing with Bernini in terms of projects.
Excellent. Yes. What specific project did they get into a bit of a tangle over? What specific project heightened their rivalry and their animosity for each other? Yeah, Chloe.
St. Peter's, I think.
St. Peter's. Excellent. Specifically building the altar in the center of the cathedral there. Okay. Vocabulary from Baroque era. What is a speaking likeness? Speaking likeness. Amanda.
Wasn't it? It was like the facial expression that Bernini used a lot, where the person was either like just about to speak, or it like talking, or just finishing talking. So their face was like engaged.
Excellent. Which kind of relates to what quality of Baroque art? One of the 3 Ds. Yeah, Hannah.
Kind of the dynamic aspect of Baroque art, because they're in this movement and this motion of an exercise of talking. It's very dynamic.
Excellent. Okay, so it adds movement, which is what dynamism is, a constant, very engaged movement. Okay, and why did he feel like it was important to have people look like they were talking other than movement? Was there another rationale behind the speaking likeness?
feel as though, I'm sorry.
Go
Did
ahead.
you feel as though it captured like the face better and like the true like soul of the the person who's sculpting?
Excellent. Yes, he felt like it most captured a person's character, right before or after they spoke. Let's see.
Can you reopen the link to the Google Drive with the review, because it like won't show us the homework from last night, like the page, because of the discussion questions. So I just don't have access to the link.
You can also go to
For the
Monday.
discussion?
Like not it's for the review.
Like I don't
You can
have
go to
access
Monday,
to
and
the
then
review
it's
because
also
I don't
posted on
know
the
the
about
link.
the final thing. Go to Monday.
Okay. Is this for the study guide?
Yeah. And then you gotta hit about the final thing, and then there's a link to it on the page. Oh, it's on the Monday page.
So you figured it out?
Yes.
Okay, more questions about Bernini. Let's see. What was Bernini famous for as a sculptor?
Which one?
How would we characterize his specific style? I'm not asking about the Baroque style in general, but his particular style. Chloe, thank you.
I can't even see that. It was really like full of movement and like emotion, and like even for one of his pieces, he like burned himself or like hurt himself or burned his arm intentionally to capture the like pain and just the great details into his work. So really just
Excellent. Yeah, but there was something he was really good at, like more than other Baroque sculptors, that I'm kind of fishing for here. Amanda?
He was really good at making like textures, and he was good at like giving them like making them look real. Like he could do indents in flesh and like organic stuff like trees and leaves and stuff to make like look really, really realistic.
Excellent. Yeah, he was really, really particularly good at textures, especially organic textures and flesh. He really had a talent for making marble, cold, hard stone, look like soft flesh. Okay, who can tell me something about this sculpture? What is it depicting? Let's start there. What is this sculpture depicting?
I don't think you're presenting.
Yeah, it's on this site. Yeah.
It's different.
Is everyone else able to see my screen?
Yeah.
I can see it.
I'll try it again, Jessica, and see if that doesn't... Are you seeing it now? Manly's Pebble, are you able to see my screen?
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Sorry, I was kicked out of my normal room, so I'm like skipping in, so that's why. It's okay.
Okay,
I'll figure it out.
you'll know what they're talking about when they start describing it. Okay. Manly's Pebble. What are we looking at here?
What do you mean, a sculpture?
Yes, you can see my screen. So what is the sculpture depicting?
Maybe an angel or like a woman, and she's like,
It's not Apollo and Daphne, is it?
It is, Julia, excellent job. This is Apollo and Daphne. And does anyone recall the story of Apollo and Daphne? Yeah. Amanda?
So Apollo gets mad at Cupid, or Cupid gets mad at Apollo because Apollo is making fun of Cupid's arrow. So Cupid makes Apollo fall in love with Daphne, but then Daphne doesn't like Apollo, or Daphne's father doesn't like Apollo, and there's some reason why. Oh, Daphne turns into a tree. That's what it is.
Okay. That was pretty good. I'm impressed that you remember that. Okay, so you're right. Cupid gets angry with Apollo, so he shoots him with an arrow that makes him fall in love with Daphne. Meanwhile, he shoots a second arrow at Daphne that makes her repulsed by love. And so Apollo is in pursuit of her, and at the last minute, right as he catches her, she calls out to her father to save her, and he transforms her into a tree. And so in this sculpture, we have the moment of her transformation right as Apollo is about to catch up with her. Julia, do you have a question or are you stretching?
She's just stretching.
Okay, let's look at another sculpture by Bernini. Okay, who can tell me the subject of this portrait and why this artwork is significant in the history of art? Country Day.
I can start with why it's significant.
Okay, let's start there.
I forgot who it is, but this is like different than most busts have been done before because there's actually like an expression and it's not just like a stern face. Like looking forward, the hair is kind of messy. The woman's like blouse is ripped open or like it's open, so like some people said it was like scandalous and like promiscuous, and so it was like different in the way that bust didn't hold people like who were like respectful in a high place. They just like he decided to make one of a woman who probably had an encounter.
Just had an encounter. I like how you put that so delicately. Yes, so she's much more informal and relaxed than portraits that we've seen before this time, which were very stiff. In fact, we actually compared this sculpture of... Lauren, can you help us out? Who are we looking at here?
This is Costanza, and she was involved in a relationship at one point with the artist.
Excellent. So she was in fact married, but she does have an affair with Bernini. And also, who else does she have an affair with? Delaney.
Bernini's brother. And it led to like this big fight in the streets and a big ordeal broke out.
Excellent. So yeah, Bernini, already known to have a very low boiling point, doesn't take much to get him angry, and then he finds out that his lover is actually having an affair with his brother, who he tries to murder. In the end, it's Costanza and the man that Bernini hires to go beat Costanza up that go to jail. And Bernini gets off light because he had connections with what or who? The Pope. Very important in his career. Why else is it important in his career other than the fact that he gets a light sentence? Chloe.
It brought him a lot of a lot of commissions, and it also, like, when he was younger, gave him access to like learning from a lot of famous people and getting into like famous exhibitions to study.
Excellent. Yes. It keeps him in constant business because he's getting a lot of commissions from popes. Excuse me. But also, it's very important because he gets to see all of the classical artworks that were being housed in the Vatican. So he has access to all these ancient Greek and Roman statues to study from. So he really is learning from the best. Okay. Sorry, do you remember learning about the ecstasy of Saint Teresa? If we looked at it, could you tell us something about it? Maybe. Okay. This artwork, we didn't exactly review very much, but it was part of the videos. So let's take a minute to review it now. Oh, that's really annoying me.
Choose a different one.
I'm going to choose a different one. Here we go. Large is good. Okay, can you tell us about this?
I'm not really sure.
Can anyone else in the group tell us something about this Bernini sculpture? Lauren.
I believe that I think we learned a while ago that wasn't this supposed to be depicting a scene in a dream where an angel was piercing her, quote unquote, with a golden arrow?
Yes, excellent. Who is she? Who is Saint Teresa? No one. Well, she was a saint, and she has her conversion to Christianity when she feels like a angel pierces her with love for God. And so Bernini has the challenge of representing this, and he does so in a very Baroque way. First of all, it's very dramatic. It almost looks like she's having an orgasm as she's getting pierced by this angel's arrow. The other thing is, Baroque art is famous for not just including sculpture, but also painting and architecture. And this work, you'll notice on the sides of the room, there are also sculptures of men as if they're sitting in a theater in the little balcony sitting areas, overlooking this drama in the center. So he's referencing theater by kind of turning the chapel into a mini theater, and he's got golden rays beaming down from the ceiling. Why is that Baroque? Hannah?
Just because it's so opulent and expressive.
Excellent, yes. Baroque artists use lots of very expensive materials, gold, bronze, encrusting things in gold or silver. So it's another example of opulence, and it just makes it even that much more dramatic and theatrical. So this is a great example of Baroque art. How are we feeling about Baroque? It's been a long time. I know this is ancient history. Why don't quickly as a group we generate some characteristics of Baroque art?
Dramatic.
The 3 Ds, right? Dramatic,
Didactic.
dynamic. And dynamic meaning what? Movement. And what does didactic mean for the group? Instructional, yeah. Jessica, is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say like teaching.
Teaching, and specifically teaching what? I mean, teaching a science lesson? Like, what is...
Most of these were like commissioned by the Catholic Church, so it was mainly Bible stories.
Excellent. So usually teaching a moral lesson or a Bible story. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And that's something we haven't discussed yet. Why the Baroque style evolved at all. What was going on in Western Europe at this time that prompted the rise of this style? Julia, help us out.
Weren't there the Protestants?
Yes. Can you elaborate?
They had to counteract against the Protestants by like making really religious looking propaganda.
Excellent. What do we call this movement?
Is it like the Lutheranism?
No, not what I'm looking for. Good guess. Hannah.
The Counter-Reformation.
The Counter-Reformation. Okay, which was led by what body?
The Catholic Church.
The Catholic Church. Okay. So the Protestants, the Protestant Reformation is sparked by a famous man at a German church named Spencer.
I have no idea.
You have no idea. Martin Luther. Okay. Hangs up his 95 complaints against the church and sparks this Protestant Reformation, which quickly, within a month, spread around Europe. Why? How? How did it spread so quickly? Delaney.
Because the printing press with movable type had been invented.
Excellent. Okay, so this information, his theses are printed, rapidly spread throughout Europe. The Catholic Church sees a crisis. Why are they in crisis?
Because people are trying to, well, not convert, but like they're following Luther and they're following his teachings and they're realizing that they don't have to give indulgences, which is how the church gets money.
Okay.
So they're like losing basically all their money because of Luther.
Losing followers and their money. Okay. So part of their plan is to have more art in the churches, and specifically what kind of art? Jessica.
And they did religious art, and then also they had relics. So like, cause pilgrimages, yeah, were like a popular thing. They would have like different parts of like bodies of different saints, and would make art around those as well.
Excellent. This is true. They did have relics and the very ornate reliquaries, which are the boxes that would hold these items. But also the art, they wanted art that was very dramatic, that would lure people in. They wanted to create a stir and also to connect with the viewers emotionally and physically. To have scenes that people could relate to. Art, they did not feel like it should be abstract or unclear. Why is this? Delaney.
Wasn't it because you weren't supposed to like idolize anything besides God? So like they didn't want to have like these abstracted forms that like left it up for chance. Or no?
No, not quite. They did want to be specific. You're kind of right and you're kind of not right. So, one thing that you said that was right, they did want to be very specific about the Bible stories and what they were depicting, because they were trying to educate their viewers as well. Not just to lure people in, but also to teach them about the Bible, since a lot of people were still illiterate. And so it was important that they be very clear, and also to bring these images to life, they wanted it to be as realistic as possible, not vague or mysterious, but very clear and realistic. Let's move on, but are there any questions about Bernini or Baroque art that I can answer?
Is Bernini the only significant Baroque artist that we studied about?
Great question. Were there any other Baroque artists that we studied?
I mean, like,
group?
significantly, like, obviously we need to get smaller, but...
No, Bernini was the only one. Bernini is the only one. Okay, now, what was the next style that we studied? Neoclassical. Very, very different from Baroque. What was going on that prompted the rise of the neoclassical style? Jessica.
It was the Age of Enlightenment. So everyone was kind of like turning back to reason and away from the church. And really it was about intellect.
Intellect, excellent answer. Intellect as well as science and logic, and basing things on evidence and reason, not just tradition or faith. Okay, so what does this have to do with art? How is this going to affect the neoclassical style? Oh, Spencer, thank you.
Most of the sculptures were unemotional and they were just not very expressive.
Okay. Yes, unemotional, not very expressive. Devin, what else?
It was a parallel to sort of the Renaissance, and the people and sculptures wanted to move away from like the Baroque movement, like we said, to like make everything more subtle. And I remember from the movie, the lady kept saying to calm down.
Yes, neoclassical calms down art. Excellent. Now, what else at the Age of Enlightenment was prompting the neoclassical style? There were some other things going on. Spencer?
There was an interest in archaeology.
An interest in archaeology. Can you elaborate?
There was like more access because of the printing press as well. There's like more access to books and other things about like sculptures that have been made in the past, I guess.
Yes, and where were excavations taking place, folks? Sorry, I'm having trouble seeing hands here. Yeah, Chloe.
They were like taken from like Rome, I think, and put into museums in Western Europe.
Yes. So not only were people traveling down to Rome, taking tours, it was actually this kind of predefined route called the Grand Tour that people would go and tour throughout Rome and see the ruins. But there were also archaeological excavations taking place, specifically at Herculaneum and Pompeii. And these were churning up a wealth of artifacts that were being brought back to museums across Europe, including what famous sculptures did we study that were brought back to England? Maddie.
The marbles.
The marbles. And who brought those back?
Is she asking
what?
me?
Lord something. Lord something.
Lord Elgin.
Lord Elgin. Yes, the Elgin marbles.
The Parthenon.
The Parthenon. So those are brought back to the British Museum around 1812. Now, how did this affect art students? Chloe.
It really gave them something to study, and now they can copy and learn from, like, have something right in front of them instead of just looking at, or like having something to look at, I guess, and study from.
Excellent. So if they were lucky, they could travel to the museums and go see these artworks from ancient Greece and Rome firsthand. Or they might be able to access a book, because we have our printing press now, that would reproduce images of these famous artworks. And from these, either the real thing or the printed images, they could copy ancient Greco-Roman sculptures. Yes?
Wasn't it also that patrons would feel like it was their, like, civil duty to like bring artwork back from all of these other countries to bring back to their home country so that artists could study them and or was that a difference period? I feel like I might be mixing that up.
I don't know if they felt it was their duty. They were just very interested in doing that.
Okay. Because I remember like Eldon was saying like about, and they would put it out and then students could come and look at it instead of having to like come up with it or depict it on their do it on their own.
Yeah, no one's totally sure what motivated Elgin, right? There were a lot of possible theories. What was one theory about why he dragged the Parthenon marbles back to England? Yeah, Hannah.
To decorate his home.
Right. So it could be to decorate his home, but he also gave some more honorable reasons, like he wanted to bring these artworks back for England to see their history and to have access to these artworks, right? Okay, so tell me about clothing in neoclassical sculpture. What can you tell me about the clothing in neoclassical sculptures? Julia.
There rarely ever was any, and if there was, it was just to emphasize the body.
Okay, I don't know if I agree with your statement that there rarely ever was, but you're right. The clothing did work to emphasize the body rather than conceal it. Clothes were very form-fitting. Devin, what else?
I was just going to say that they were very tight and close to the body and resembled the Greeks and Romans.
Yes, But let's be careful here. The clothing was not using, okay, neoclassical sculptures did not have Greco-Roman drapery. Did not. They were not trying to be accurate to Greco-Roman clothing. They were, however, influenced by it. For example, the type of dress being worn during this time period. Does anyone remember what the name of the type of dress was? Delaney.
Is it chemises? I don't know how to say it.
I think it's a camise.
Camise. There you go. And then the guys wear breeches.
Yes, breeches. So the clothing, especially the women's dresses, had a tight bodice and then a long flowing skirt, which is similar to the looseness of drapery, but it's not Greco-Roman drapery. So let's clarify there that the clothing was not trying to be accurate to Greco-Roman clothing. What kind of virtues were sculptors interested in portraying during this time? Maddie.
Leaders and gods.
Okay, so that's subject matter. Yes, leaders, heroes, gods. What kind of virtues were they looking for? What kind of characteristics were they looking for in their leaders and heroes?
Like the hands up or the raised fist?
Okay, sorry. What kind of personality traits were they looking for?
Oh.
You're saying all good things, but I'm fishing for something specific. Amanda, help us out.
Was it sort of like heroic, but also humble and like can relate to the masses?
Excellent. Yes, they wanted leaders who were heroic, who indicated their sense of duty and commitment to the people, and that were also very restrained and humble, not kind of, gloating in their power. What were some of the sculptors we studied from this time period? I'd like to hear some names thrown out. Chloe and then Hannah.
Auguste Rodin, right or no?
No. Rodin would not be classified as a neoclassical sculptor, no. Well, let's talk about his category next, because that's actually an interesting question. Leslie. Oh, sorry, I did promise Hannah she could tell us. Hannah, go ahead.
Houdon from France. We studied lots of his works. He did a lot of George Washington.
Excellent. Leslie, can you add on?
I was going to say Winkleman.
Winkleman. Ooh, that would be a great vocabulary word.
Winkleman.
He was not a sculptor, though.
He did the statue. No, I thought he wrote a book. Didn't do such a great...
He wrote a book. Can you elaborate, Spencer?
He wrote a book called Reflections on the Painting and Sculpture of the Greeks.
What was significant about this text?
Greek art is supreme.
Can you say it louder? Yes,
Greek
you're right.
art was supreme.
Right. So he was really an advocate that Greek and Roman art was the best form of art that had been made, and that artists should return to studying Greco-Roman artworks. Excellent job. Winkleman text. That would be a great one to know. Greenough. Horatio Greenough. Oh, I stole it from Manlius Pebble, or Leslie did. There's still one more sculptor whose name we haven't mentioned that you did learn about. Go ahead.
Canova.
Antonio Canova. Where was he from?
Italy. England. Yeah, Italy. Final answer, Italy.
I thought he was from France.
Okay, I win.
Oh, he's Italian. My bad. He is Italian. Antonio Canova from Italy. Okay. He did what sculpture? Which sculpture did Canova do that we studied?
GW.
Hannah.
Canova was famous for depicting Paulina Borghese, Napoleon's sister, as Venus victorious.
Excellent. And why did we decide that this artwork is representative of the neoclassical style? This is a question for the group. Why is this a neoclassical artwork?
Bye, Chloe. Bye, Amanda.
Bye, ladies.
Oh my gosh, I'll never see you.
Bye.
Oh, we're never gonna see each other again. Wait, I can't see her. The layout's weird.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, guys. See ya.
Make good choices.
Make good choices.
For the rest of your life. I'll never see you. Or not, because I'll never see you.
Oh, so sad.
Really
Okay.
sad. I mean, we have to take a moment, like a moment of silence.
We'll take a moment at the very end. Okay. So, last question before we move on to Rodin. Why would this sculpture be a good example of neoclassical art? Is your hand raised? Awesome. Yes.
It showed Napoleon Bonaparte's sister,
Okay.
who was Penelope, I think was her name.
No. Paulina Borghese.
Paulina. Is it not his sister?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
And it shows like a very prominent woman in a like sexual position, and she was also depicted as Athena. I think it was.
As Venus.
Venus.
Why is
Oh,
that
It has she
neoclassical?
has the apple, and
Right.
so it's like showing like normal people, but like
Yep.
not so normal. They were like she was a prominent woman, and it's showing her as a goddess, and so
So it's referencing mythology of antiquity, right? So it's both showing someone from contemporary time period who was powerful, in a position of power, and referencing classical mythology. She is nude from the waist up, and I would say that her skirt here very much so references classical drapery, right? But even though you described her position as being sexual,
I think it's like kind of sexual. I don't know.
It's pretty uncomfortable.
I mean, she's kind of like naked on a like a bed, like.
Just.
I mean, it's not like very.
It's not comfortable.
It's not conservative at all. So.
Yeah, she's not wearing clothes. So.
She has a tree.
but she is, notice, she's not twisted around her body as much as Baroque art would have been,
He's
right?
like posing. He's painting for like one of his French girls.
No, I mean, I feel like her pose is more for the.
It's more for like
the audience
sculptor.
than her. You know what I'm saying? Like portraying her a certain way.
Very graceful, but like
It is still very graceful,
yeah,
though.
but
I mean,
it's
she is nude, but I would say this is not like overly. She is nude, but she's not like trying to be
But I feel like the
erotic.
way she's posed, she's.
I don't think she's like overly sexual, but I think she's like somewhat.
And in terms of materials, why would this qualify as Baroque art? I'm sorry, neoclassical. What was the main material used during the neoclassical period? Anna?
Marble.
Marble. Excellent. So look for that marble, folks. Okay, Rodin. Who can tell me something about Rodin? Anything. Kick us off. Auguste Rodin. Okay, we've got a name. Why is he important? What did he do? What artworks have we studied from him? Leslie.
The man with the broken nose.
Man with a broken nose. What can you tell us about that sculpture?
It was really realistic.
Okay.
It had realistic detail.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like taking away from like the classical style, obviously like neoclassical. The back of the head was missing.
Okay, what happened to the back of the head?
Fell.
Fell.
Or he left it off. I don't know.
Okay. Lauren, what can you add on to Man with a Broken Nose? I know this was your sculpture that you researched.
The back of the head fell off when Rodin did not have enough money for adequate housing, and it got too cold and the sculpture broke. The back of the head fell off, and he didn't think that he wanted very much to fix it. so he just sort of sculpted it with the back of the head still off.
Okay, so this is excellent. Thank you. And this is the first example we see of chance being introduced into artwork, which is why some people consider Rodin to be what?
I'm gonna say this wrong, but he's like the father of like modern art.
The grandfather of modern art. Excellent. Now, someone mentioned earlier, someone was trying to place Rodin in the neoclassical time period. What could we label him as? And it's not neoclassical. What did I just do? Yeah, Jessica.
Is it an impressionist? Impressionism?
A lot of art historians like to qualify him as an impressionist. What does he have in common with the impressionists?
I feel like how his sculptures. Oh, sorry. Can I talk?
Please.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know. I feel like his sculptures are drifting more naturalistic kind of, and then you see Degas really as an impressionist, where you have how they're seeing things instead of how idealized they would be seen.
Excellent. Okay, so he does away with idealization. That's not to say that his figures are super realistic, though, right, folks? What are the surface qualities of his sculptures like? Rough?
Jagged.
Well, they're smooth, but they're lumpy and bumpy, right?
Because they have the distorted, ugly parts of them.
Yep.
Is that right? The wrinkles and the moles and...
You're thinking of veristic Roman portraits.
Sorry.
So, no, he doesn't really include details like wrinkles and moles, but the surface of his bodies are very lumpy and bumpy. We looked at a digital image of his thinker, I believe, and we spun it around and we could see all, the cratered surface, almost like a lunar landscape of his bodies. Spencer's like, what?
It's bronze. Not marble. It was bronze.
He uses bronze. Okay, but we are still going to qualify bronze as a traditional material. So I would say Edgar Degas would be the first one who really starts using non-traditional materials. Wax. Excellent. Yes, wax and real clothing with his piece Little Dancer, age 14, right? What was controversial about Rodin's Age of Bronze sculpture? Yes, Spencer. Thank you.
Wasn't he accused of casting it from a model?
Yes.
Sculpting it himself.
Yes. Okay. So he was criticized for being too lifelike. Lauren, what else?
The lawsuit that followed because they accused him of using the model really brought publicity to a lot of his sculptures, but he refrained in the future from making a life-size model and instead made most of his sculptures larger than life.
Excellent. Yeah, starting with John the Baptist, which is the next piece he made, he did make it slightly larger than life so as to avoid being accused again of casting from life. What is missing from this sculpture?
Clothes.
Clothes, yeah. What else? Why is his arm up like that? Hannah.
Isn't it? It's either a sword or some sort of rod, a spear.
A spear. Because who is this depicting? What are we looking at? The title is The Age of Bronze. That doesn't really help us out much. Julia?
Isn't it, David?
No. Hannah?
Isn't it supposed to be kind of taken from Michelangelo's dying slave. So potentially it's a dying slave.
Actually, it is a warrior. And the original title for this piece was The Vanquished Warrior. And he would have been leaning on a spear. In comparison to a classical sculpture, what has Rodin done wrong with the pose of this figure? What is wrong with the pose of this figure?
Opposite contrapasso.
Yes, it's opposite contrapasso. So his arms should be switched.
And his legs should be switched, right?
Or one or the other. Either his arms should be the other way or his legs should be the other way. The arm opposite the active leg should also be active. So, does that make sense?
I always thought it was like left foot.
The arm opposite the active leg should also be active. Yes, Rodin was heavily influenced by Michelangelo. What else was he looking to? Or who else? Yeah, Hannah?
There was some sort of Franco some war that was happening, and it was kind of his commentary, or it was interpreted to be his commentary that like France shouldn't have been in the war in the first place.
Oh, okay, yes. Yes, that's not what I was asking, but you make an excellent point. He was making a little bit of a political commentary on the war that France had entered. I believe it was the Franco-Prussian War.
Yeah.
But who else was he influenced by in terms of his art? Other than just Michelangelo? Yeah, Devin.
Ghiberti.
Ghiberti.
Is that his name?
That is. I think that's an architect. Where are you getting this? You're probably right.
Oh, it's just because of his Gates of Hell or whatever. Ghiberti made his Paradise store or whatever, and that's where he like resembled it from.
Ah, excellent. Thank you for yes, Ghiberti. Okay, I don't think we talked about that in class, but you are right. He was influenced by Ghiberti. Devin, what can you tell us about the doors? Refresh our memories on the doors.
So basically, he was commissioned by a museum, the Edmund Torgay Museum, to create these like giant doors, and it was basically supposed to be the doors that you enter if you're like going to hell, I guess. And he was given 3 years to do it, but it took him over 10 years to complete it. And after, it was when he was like almost done, he was dropped, so they weren't going to fund him anymore to do it. So now he just had like this huge like door or almost finished door to himself. But then after he was dropped, he kind of took it in a good way, I guess you could say, because he could finish it the way he wanted to and actually take his time to do it.
Excellent. And what other sculptures that we've studied, class, come from the Gates of Hell? What other Rodin sculptures derived originally from the Gates of Hell?
The Kiss.
The Kiss.
Right.
That's one.
The Thinker.
The Thinker is another. Delaney, did you have a third?
Those are both of mine.
Sorry, Delaney.
He also got the Prodigal Son from the doors, and he enlarged the Prodigal Son. I don't believe we looked at the Prodigal Son, but yes, the Thinker and the Kiss for sure. And the doors are never installed on the museum because the museum was never built. But as Devin said, it was great for Rodin because he got to develop him as he saw best fit. What is the thinker representing? What is the subject of the thinker? Delaney.
It was said to represent Dante himself, and he would represent like all of humanity nowadays and like the abstract idea.
What do you mean by the abstract idea?
Like, I don't know. He wanted to represent. I think he was trying to like portray the abstract idea of someone in thought versus, just like someone standing there. Like every part of him like seemed to be in thought too.
Excellent. Yes. So it was originally conceived to represent Dante, who is a medieval poet who described hell. Nowadays, it's kind of a symbol for the everyman, but a lot of art historians also argue that it represents an idea, the act of thinking, because the thinker's whole body is engaged in this act of thought. How is the thinker like one of Michelangelo's sculptures? Hannah.
You have a lot of elongated and kind of distorted features, much like in Michelangelo's David, where he enlarges the hands and kind of plays with proportions.
Excellent. Yes, enlarged hands and feet. And his burghers of Calais also have enlarged hands and feet. What is the symbolic effect of having the enlarged hands and feet on the burghers of Calais? Jessica.
It kind of like roots them to the ground and like shows how like their decision is weighing on them and how it's like pulling them down.
Yeah, what decision were they faced with, Jessica?
They had to like give themselves up in order to save the city, but then they ended up living, so.
So it does have a happy ending.
Yeah.
This is true. Specifically, folks, make sure you're aware of what war was going on and kind of the historical setting behind the burghers of Calais. A quick Google search will bring that up for you. Make sure, and this is just in general, that you're going back and checking all the homework pages on eCollege. A lot of them have links to Google documents where either you or your peers or you and your peers took notes on various things. Make sure you're going back to those Google documents and reading over the notes that either you or your peers took. All of those links should still be active. If they're not, or you encounter some technical difficulty, shoot me an email as soon as you possibly can and I'll investigate it. But I think when I checked this morning, they were all working. We have had a chance to cover 3 of the topics that will be on the exam: Rodin, neoclassical art, and Baroque art. Degas will also be on there. He was kind of a pre-modernist / impressionist artist. Picasso is the only modern artist we studied. Pop art is kind of its own transitional style between modernism and contemporary art. We studied 3 artists under pop art. Who were they? George Siegel. Excellent. There was another man.
That was it.
Hansen.
Dwayne Hansen and Marisol Escobar. So make sure you're familiar with their 3 individual styles. And then Magdalena Abakanowicz, we spent 2 days on her, and Antony Gormley. I would also take a minute to look over the discussion questions that your peers answered last night about the Antony Gormley field piece.
Those are the ones where we can't look.
Yeah, we can't access
Oh,
those.
okay. So I need to. Okay. All right. Thank you for letting me know. I will make those active. Any final questions before we break about the exam?
No.
If you have a question about the exam or about some content on the exam, you're welcome to email me anytime over the next couple of days, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you all so much for making this a great semester. I've so enjoyed working with you. You have a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and I have so appreciated it. Good luck on the exam. You're going to do great.
Bye.
Bye.
Love you all. We'll miss you.
You guys are really gonna miss me the most, let's be honest.
Friend us on Facebook. Friend us on Facebook.
We will. Okay, let's start like a huge group chat.
Yeah. Can I talk to you for a second?
A quick second. I have another class coming in.
I just want to apologize for being late. I forgot we have class today.
Oh, that's all right. Thank you for your apology. I hope the recording will be posted so you can watch it. But I'm sure your friends there will also help you out with the review.
Yeah,
I didn't do the homework.
You did not?
I did not do the homework, but I did like the 300-point extra points thing. So will I be fine?
Oh, you did do it.
I didn't do the homework for today.
No, right, but you did the extra credit?
Yeah, so I'm cool.
Can you send me the picture of the extra credit?
Oh yeah, sure. Just I didn't bring it today. Okay. Thank you.
That's fine. Send me the picture of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys. It's been fun. Okay. What class are you taking?
Multivariable calculus.
It's like, I don't remember. Okay.
Did the time change for this class? Or is this?
Just today.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, I just didn't know because normally Griff's in here taking computer programming.
Yes, apparently his class was canceled, and so we switched into this slot.
Okay.
But it won't happen again. Well, plus,
I'm not like
you have
angry
class.
or anything.
No, I know, but do you have class again on Friday?
No, I'm Monday, Thursday.
Oh, you're Monday, oh, right.
But I don't even know if I have class on Thursday. I probably don't.
You might not.
Because we have a final to take this week, so.
Yep. He'll probably, or she'll probably let you take it again in that slot. Okay. Have a good day.
You too.